Hello everybody, welcome to the video. Today you guys are getting the face cam. I don't know why, I just felt like it today. All right, so deal with it. You guys get to see my face for the day. And what we're doing today, well, we're on the subject of today, is today's video is about today's topic is about the Kawasaki setup I have made. It's been very kind to me, in my opinion. It's been my favorite so far this with these new OEM bikes. I've been riding it quite often, and we're here on a new track, by the way, so still learning curve here, but you know what they say, you only get better like the more you struggle or something like that. So yeah, we're gonna struggle today, and hopefully we get better. But not only that, the setup itself is good, but I was curious after someone asked me this. I couldn't give him credit because I actually probably get asked about this quite a bit and kind of think about it. So I get absurdly enough, I get comments from about like videos that were posted like 6 months ago or something. It's like, so does this setup still like work, or does this setup? And I was like, what idiots think that these actually work still? And then I started to think, and it was like I kind of got asked if they were interchangeable, and that's today's video. We're gonna try the Kawi setup, except we're gonna try it on the Husqvarna. Now, I don't know how well it'll translate. These are two totally different type of bikes. I probably should do it with like the Kawasaki and the Honda of any bikes, because they're both kind of I wouldn't say like they're the closest, but they're closer. I'd say Yamaha and Honda would probably be your best bet, but I'm not going to do that. But yeah, we're going to basically put on a Kawi setup for the Husqvarna and see if it works out. And I've already have enough questions with people asking for this setup here, and honestly, it's one of my most recent videos. It's the can we make the Kawasaki the best bike in the game or something like that along those lines. At the end is the setup, but I have made a few changes since then, so I will probably show you guys the setup in this video. And man, I cannot seem to get that section. You got to slow way down. Gonna just do some laps rolling around here on the track with the Husqvarna, which I actually came to quite the liking, by the way. I really like this bike. Now, this is literally the bone stock bike, so just basically feeling it out real quick before we change the setup. That way we know if it like improves the bike or not. And I can already tell you the lack of power is very annoying. I'll definitely turn the mapping and gearing to my liking, and it made the on-off. I didn't have the balls to pull the triple, though. You know who did? Cameron McAdoo. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I'm talking about Cameron McAdoo. Went down in the first corner in real-life Supercross, and holy crap, this thing munches whoops. But he went down on the first lap of the main event in the 250s in Detroit this last weekend, or this past weekend. And if you guys didn't seem to catch it or see anything on social media about it, poor Cameron McAdoo had a crash, got a handlebar to the boys, and yeah, he ended up tearing right through his pants and his underwear. And yeah, he was kind of hanging out, if you will, for the race. So just a funny little thing that happened, I guess. So like I said, kind of feel bad for the guy, but you know, if there's any community that's it's gonna be, you know, taken well in, it's gonna be the moto community. So it is pretty funny. If you guys would like to hear more of my talk, by the way, on real life racing and stuff like that, if you guys really are into AMA Supercross, and or when Motocross season comes around, you guys like to follow that, I have a channel I've been watching for so many years now, and all I ever want to talk about is sports, whether it's NFL football or Moto in depth. So make sure to go check that channel out. It is in the comments below. And we're off the track. I think it's time to change the setup. We have a basic feel right now for the stock Husqvarna. Let's see if the Kawasaki, not the KTM, but the Kawasaki setup helps the Husqvarna at all. Now, the only stipulation here is the rod length on the Kawasaki's 133, and the lowest we can go here on the Husqvarna is 144. But yeah, this is the setup here: 119 gallons, 90, 120 back tire. Change this. Suspension 27, 10 clicks, 10 clicks, 5, 105, 256, 12, 2 turns, 9 clicks, 4, and then drivetrain 1251. And then I still have the standard mapping on, and then this is the geometry for the Kawasaki setup. Now let's see if she ends up ripping here. Now it is very, very, very short gearing, which I mean I might actually appreciate, because I like this way more than the average player in this game. So hopefully, you know, it puts in a good rep. I did want to try something, didn't really catch quick enough. This thing has a low response when you first hit it. It doesn't bog or anything because it's a video game, but it has like a lower reaction time almost to when you hit the throttle, so you kind of have to be ready for it. So like to wheel tap off this would be a little difficult timing wise with the Husqvarna, but so far it's actually feeling a little snazzy, I'm not gonna lie. Now there is a lot more, it feels like, bounce to it. I wouldn't call it like good, but it feels like there's a little bit more bounce to it. There's a little bit more of a flow. Just seems to, I don't know, it just seems to kind of process the rest of the track better. I'm very curious to see the whoops coming up here, and I'll probably shift up to fourth, and yep, back wheel stays planted. Are setups interchangeable in MX bikes, or is this a fluke? We might have to go try this on other bikes, because this is crazy. So we might end up going out and getting another bike to try this on. This is nuts, as it seems to be working out quite nicely, and I could ride this any day of the week through Supercross. Now I will also go to Detroit Supercross and see how well it does there instead of such a basic low roughness, not the pro grade track. So we'll have to go try it out there, but I thought like just the basic concept wouldn't work, so that's why we're here on a Supercross track that probably isn't where it would translate the best. But geez Louise, this is very surprising results so far, and like I said, this thing just stays through the whoops. You can get into this corner here. Now the front end a little iffy, I'm guessing that would be like the rod length, so maybe turn it down to about 6 or so here for the Husqvarna. But I mean, we're doing some scientific stuff here, and this seems to be working really well, more than I thought it would in theory. I thought in theory this was like the dumbest thing ever. Turns out I might not be dumb, I might actually be a scientist, because I mean, you see that wheel tap there. I'm not going to say that the stock Husky couldn't do that, but I mean, I'm just saying, you know, it's feeling good. By the way, I just made my face cam bigger, and I gave you guys the controller overlay in the bottom right. I do apologize, forgot to have that there. But here we are on Detroit Supercross with the Husqvarna Kawasaki, if you will, the Kawa Husky we have here with the Kawasaki setup, everything like that, and it seems to be working well so far with the Husqvarna. But I thought we'd kind of put it to I guess a bigger spectrum here with the Detroit Supercross. But if this works, which so far, I mean, meh, it feels a little bit big, like, or not big, taller, I should say. Like, if I mess with the fork offset and the whatever you want to call it, I've already mentioned it, the rod length, I think it would be a lot better. Now, we saw some struggles there in the whoops, and we do still make it on there, and I want to see how close we are to getting this. Wow, I didn't think we'd even be close to that quad really seat bounce. I think I might have even seat bounced in my seat, not gonna lie. And trying to get over that, that's a bad way to go about it. Let's see how it gets this quad here. We'll go 4th gear, and nope, not going to be able to get it, but you know, it's a good run, I guess, but not really. But coming back inside, I wanted to see the scrub. It's not a scrubber, this the Husqvarna. It feels like the front end's maybe a little too plush, along with a little too tall, and the back end seems to be receiving that same instability there, where it's not feeling great. So we did up the pressure to the to Detroit Supercross here instead of the more simple basic Supercross layout we were riding beforehand. And now we are just hanging out here at the highest level tracks that are made here for the Supercross replicas, and what these setups are mainly made for. And it's not performing as well as it was, which is actually, you know, like expected, as I need to do a better job. It's just adapting this track. I'm not doing great. Since it's not the scrubbing type, we're going to try to go up and over, and this thing does have like a pretty impressive engine, I'm not gonna lie. But in my final like thoughts and opinions, it's just a little too unstable, along with a little too plush. I think you need to stiffen a few things up, and then also make it a little bit shorter, because it feels a little tall, especially on the front end. So just a few changes in this thing, I think could be pretty good, and we're seeing how well it gets the quad. That is nuts. And that could just be due to the certain settings that help with the rest of Supercross, or that hinder the rest of Supercross, but are made for the bigger jumps, if you will. And yeah, it's not really picking up. I mean, the back wheel has some like low tolerance for a small bump here and there. And like I said, this one's just not really a scrubber, but it's got great power behind it. I'm very surprised by the power it has. Now I'm going to try to take the lower like whoops line here and see what's happening. And it's happening, but not really great. And that was an awesome as well. But we're going to go try this on another bike. I'm very curious. And same stipulation here that we had with the Husky, we're going to have here with the Honda 146. But I'm going to prove you guys real quick. General is the same. Suspension is all changed now. Look at how far off default this is, by the way. And then drivetrain's changed. Everything is changed. Save default. We'll go Cowie SX. And then track marker. And we'll be on our way. And go third gear now. The gearing is going to be a little bit challenging as well, because I don't know how I like the Honda. I did try it recently, but it wasn't my favorite, I'm not gonna lie. So we'll see if the setup changes anything. The first thing I realize with the bikes, the Husqvarna and now the Honda, is the mobility it feels like it has. I just feel instantly more comfortable. So maybe it's just something I like with my bikes, is to be a little bit more agile, or wow, not like that. I guess for the bike to just be more movable is what I should say. It's definitely better that way. And now we're gonna get into the whoops, where this thing, we changed the suspension so much I didn't even expect it to get through the whoops once cleanly. And as you guys can tell, I clearly need to play the game more. But look at the instant power in the back end of this bike with this 1251 gearing. My opinion, probably the best gearing in the game. And it's getting proven right now. Withstands a little bit of a case there. Doesn't quite have the same Husqvarna, I guess, thing where it was just able to jump over everything. And we get a good wheelie over that little first single of that triple. Oh boy. Oh, what was that? What just happened to the bike? A little bit of a question mark there, if you ask me. That's it's quite the experience, I guess. But we're gonna head into the whoops one more time here. And yeah, look at the back wheel, just a little bit too stiff. It starts off very, very soft, the back wheel does. And I don't think that I would like that very much. I didn't really like that very much when I was testing this bike to see if I wanted it to be my main bike just last week. And I ended up going with the Kawasaki. Best, like, in my opinion, best bike, Kawasaki for sure. Now KTM's obviously getting some hype out there, but I like to be a little different for my own opinions, and definitely like to make my own bikes, because I don't ride I don't play the game real similar to many others. So lot works better for me than it does for other people, and that's just fine. I mean, you guys do you. I really couldn't care less, but it is what it is. And I chose the Kawasaki, and here we are back on the Honda. And okay, with a softer back wheel, this thing has some true potential to be absolutely sick. By the way, if you guys want to just do the little changes that these need, any of these bikes feel like they can be absolutely great. Not absolutely amazing everywhere, like the KTM is like just crazy stable. So maybe just change the bike up a tad, and you guys might see some results pretty quickly. But we'll see what the wheel tap's like here. Pretty stable on the Honda coming around this bend. We'll give it an attempt here on the quad, but I just like to do that line real quick. And we'll give it our best go at the quad in just a minute here next time around. But I just, like I said, I want to see the whoops, because this has some major promise. If it's doing this well through the whoops already, soften the back wheel up and you have yourself a great bike. So what is the verdict here? Are setups interchangeable at MX bikes? Like, is this confirmed? Did we just like do that? Very hard to tell, but it seems to be working a little bit better, and way better than I thought initially. Now, obviously, I'm not running any like of my record lap times or anything like that, but we're gonna go fourth. Probably should have been fifth gear. Yeah, we're gonna retry that. And since it's such short gearing, like I said, probably should be fifth gear, and I don't think we have it here either. All right, one last try here. Fifth gear. going a bit further outside. Would like that nice run and can't get there. There's got to be a little bit more Pabobo involved than just sheer like scrub momentum and power. I think you got to get a little lucky and do the right things to get the game mechanics to work with you. But yeah, this thing, huge promise, by the way. I mean, I really love the geometry of this bike or these bikes, so I think that this will pretty much be my geometry working forward from like now on. I think for like most of the bikes I make now, if I end up like making more, I think that this is just pretty solid, and then I'd really just have to work on suspension with each bike. So let me know if you guys want me to keep doing like the build videos where over the course of a video I record for like an hour 30 minutes and just kind of work on a bike setup. Oh my, what the jump scare, what is happening? Oh my, what just happened? I legitimately just got jump scared by MX bikes. What was that, dude? What just happened? Was that like a game crash, or was that like, did that actually register as a thing? Maybe we broke MX bikes. What was that? My next video is going to be a tutorial how to do 90 flips in one jump. That'll be a banger. And yeah, of course, oh, we didn't get it, but we were close. We'd have to mess with gearing and stuff like that. But I think we learned something today, and that is, I don't know. That's what we learned. We don't know yet. We don't know if this works with every bike. It worked with the two I tried, the two H bikes with the Husky and Honda. Definitely, I would say it worked out pretty well. So that'll be all for me. Thank you for watching. If you guys enjoyed, give it a like, go down, subscribe, go watch the past content on the channel, especially if you watched all the way to now. I really appreciate it, and I really think that you'd like more videos on the channel. And that'll be all for me. Thank you guys for watching again. Deuces! Alright, gotta find a place to crash, though. There we go. Deuces.